Hello, everyone. This is your PEA President Stephanie Yocum, and we are here today to talk about this ratification package that is in front of you all for review right now, and then a vote will start Monday, March 10th. So I want to recap real quickly the 8 months of your power that you exerted time and time again to put pressure on our employer to make us come out on top with huge wins, not only to start setting industry standards in Polk County, but across Central Florida and across this state. So we are coming out of this because of your power and your engagement with historic raises. Teacher contract, you are fully decompressed to where our years of experience are now one for one again. We're not banded together where we're making the same as a beginning year teacher. Our paras and our secretary contracts, we are still continuing to decompress your schedules with more work done on that this year. We were able to win with your power 30-minute consecutive lunches that are duty-free for everyone. And our secretaries, we were able to clarify that it has to be consecutive. They can't break it up. And that will start next year with planning and then full implementation on the 26-27 school year. Teachers in the teacher contract and everybody that's covered under the teacher contract, we were able to, through, again, your power, to net about 330 more self-directed planning minutes by us winning all 10 early dismissal days. And so we're going to see that planning come back to us to address some of our workload issues. And then our secretaries, this has been a 2-year hard fight, but you have won educational credits for verified transcripts for your higher education classes. These are huge wins, and this doesn't happen with just the people at the bargaining table. This happens when thousands of people like you are engaged in the bargaining process, that are engaged in your contract, your wages, your working conditions, and our students' learning conditions. So I want to take some time to go through some history, because we've been on this road a long time with, the minimum wage going up, with minimum teacher salary through the legislature going up. And so this has been historic, and we were able to do a lot of this in a short amount of time. So with our support staff, our ESPs and our paras, so the $15 minimum hourly wage went up a couple years ago, and that was the fight that you guys did through our union statewide, knowing that the minimum wage had to go up. Because in 1920, and I'm just going to use the first pay grades in both contracts, our ESP PGO1, they were the lowest paid folks at $8.57 an hour in the 1920 school year. And with the hours they work, about $16,940 annually. Okay. And the highest in that salary schedule was $19.49 an hour. And our para, our first pay grade, PAO1, in 1920, you are making $9.12 an hour, with the highest in that schedule making $19.49 an hour. 5 years later, we were able, through your power, to move the base to $15.34 an hour in PGO1 and $15.39 an hour in PAO1, with capping out in that pay grade at $23.37 an hour and PAO1 $23.63 an hour. And that's just the first pay grade. There's a lot of pay grades in both of those contracts. And through the work of your union and your engagement, we've been able to review job descriptions and change pay grades and up pay grades where the job was requiring more. And so that all happens through your union and your engagement and your power. So over the last 5 years, support staff have realized between $5,700 and $13,000, okay, just in the last 5 years alone. Now let's look at the history of our teacher and clinician contracts. And this is all under the teacher contract. So back in 1920 school year, our base salary was at $40,972. Okay, right around here in the this year, 2021, the legislature and our governor passed the minimum requirement of $47,500 for teacher salaries. Now, what that did was it had money tied to it, to that law, but 80% of the dollars had to go to move the base salary to $47,500. And then everything else was left for everyone else other than the 0-year base salary. So with that law, we were able to, over 3 years, add $6,528 to the base salary to get to $47,500 in the 22-23 school year. And in that same time frame, everyone else on the teacher contract only saw about $1,500 over those 3 years because the legislature did not budget enough money to get the base up to $47,500, but also to move everybody else this same dollar amount. So what we ended up dealing with over these last 2 years are salary compressions. The same thing happened to our support staff when the minimum wage went up to $15 an hour. The legislature didn't give us enough money to raise everybody that same amount of money. So what we've been working on these last 2 years through your engagement and your power is decompression so that we can equalize this back out for everyone else so that we can move forward with equitable raises for everyone once it's decompressed, which we were able to do this year. So in the 23-24, we kept the base the same these last 2 years so that everyone else could catch up to about that same dollar amount. So last year, on average, our teachers saw about $2,000 in, with level movement into their schedules. This year, most of our teachers are seeing an average of $3,000 for the year. And that equates to about the $6,500 that the base salary saw from the 1920 to 22-23, with full decompression now moving forward. And so teachers and clinicians over these last 5 years, we've seen about $6,500 added into everybody's paychecks since the 1920 school year. Those are huge wins with the money that the legislature provides public schools. So now you might be asking, well, Stephanie, how do I find my tentatively agreed to raise? What am I going to be making? That's a great question. So you're going to want to go to your contract under bargaining tab, then ratification on the PEA website. And this is also going to be in the email that this video is embedded in, that has been sent out as of Wednesday morning. You're going to want to find your pay schedule. So your pay schedule on teachers. Are you on a grandfather schedule? Are you pay for performance? Are you on a dean schedule, grandfather to pay for performance? Are you on student services? Are you on the OTPTSLI schedule? Our support staff. Are you on PGO1 or PRS12? Paras, are you on PAO1 or maybe PA10, right? So that's your pay schedule. And then you're going to want to look for your current pay level. So the way we had to do it this year, instead of physically moving down levels to do the decompression, because the district is in an SAP upgrade, which is much needed so that we can actually pay people correctly, we had to do it a little bit differently. And so if you were on a banded group, like in the teachers, AAJ had 12 and 13 years of experience together. So if you had 12 or 13 years of experience, you were both making $49,442 currently for the last contract. Based on the tentative agreement, AAJ 12, you're just going to go straight across on the Excel sheet, $52,602. And on the Excel sheets, you will even see the raise in dollars and the raise in percent. And you'll do the same going across. So AAJ, even though you guys were both making the same amount of money this last year, 13 years, you'll now be making $52,916. Same for our support staff contracts. You'll find your pay grade. That's your pay grade. It'll look something like this. And then you have your level. And so your levels are not just going to be like A, B, C, D through M. For the first couple, A through D, you're going to see a breaking up of the bands. So you'll now see if you have 5 years of experience, BO5, you were all making the same from year 1 to year 10 at $15.89 an hour. Now we start to break that up. Now it's not fully broken up in the support staff contracts yet. It's going to take us probably a couple more years to do that, unless the legislature, which the session starts today, we put pressure on them to give more money into our public schools, then we can work with that. But for right now, this is what we're working with. So BO6, like you were at $15.89 now, you're just going to go straight across. and then you would be making $16.83 an hour for just the example of PA03. And so again, you'll have your raise amount right next to it, and then the percent next to it as well. And if you have questions, talk to your building rep, and then, or if you need to call the office, that's perfectly great too. Okay. So now I'm going to be a little serious for a minute. We were able to get these historic wins with 50% membership. Imagine if Polk County had 80 or 90% membership. What power we would bring to the table. What power we would bring to the legislative sessions so that our legislators are hearing us, that they are addressing the funding issues in public schools, that they are addressing our working conditions and our workloads, and that our district is addressing our workloads. That comes with people power. So these historic wins were brought to you by your power and your engagement in this process. So we are building a movement here, and you need to be part of this movement. Join your union today. We must continue building power if we want to see historic raises and working condition wins year after year after year. Okay. Right now, we're at 50% power capacity. We have 50% of the people in this county that belong to and are with their union. Okay. We're making this work with 50% of the resources that we could have and carrying double of the weight. Okay. We must join together, lift our voices up in unison together through our union. Okay. The only way any of this continues to work is through your union and your union contract. Okay. Our Constitution in Florida protects the right to collectively bargain with our employer through a union, not through individuals, through a union, through a labor organization. Okay. That's power when we're banded together. Okay. It doesn't matter what our differences are, maybe in the political arena, maybe in other avenues, but we all in Polk County Public Schools care about kids, and we care about setting industry standards for our professions in not only Polk County, not only Central Florida, but across this state. And to do that, collective power and action through your union is the only way to do that. We have seen historic raises this year for many of our staff. And over the last 5 years, we have seen, if you count that all up, those are huge wins. And that only happens through your union. It is time to get off the sidelines, get out of the stands, get into the arena so that we are working and we are marching with full power. Okay? We only win this when we stand together. Join your union today and be part of the movement and be part of the change that we can do together. We did it, guys, but the work doesn't stop. Okay, we're going right into open book. So be ready to engage in those committees and build our power.